morning, everybody. We'll call to order at 7:32. Just please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, first order of business is approval of minutes from February 5th meeting. Jenny did provide those. We're looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the February 5th meeting. Moved by Mr. Holmes, seconded by Mr. Lucy and Mr. Kravitz. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It carries. Okay, old business, there is none. Agenda item D, project administration, bid document release authorization, bid 250017, construction testing agent for Pilgrim and Tollgate. We got no bidders, right?
Well, this is a request for proposals for third-party construction testing services. This is to assure quality assurance and code compliance, specifically for concrete, steel erection, metal framing, fireproofing, those scopes of work. So the RFP's been prepared. We plan to post it today for advertisement. We will expect bids back on the 16th of this month.
Okay, so this isn't an action item. We don't have to approve this.
Yeah, we do need to approve this.
Approve the release of the RFP.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Are there any questions for?
This is for special inspections.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Lucy?
Didn't that go out?
It went out, but we got no bidders. So what we did do was we gave the purchasing agent a list of 15 to reach out personally to each one because they didn't, for some reason, they didn't look at the net directly.
We just think a little bit more outreach might be needed.
Yep.
Yeah, usually is.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? So, if not, I'm just looking for motion to approve bid document release. So moved by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Acting Superintendent McCaffrey and Mr. DeCourt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. So, agenda item B2, bid reviews and awards. You want to do A, B, and C?
We'll just do A.
We're gonna do A and B. We're gonna table C. All right, so, bid number 250015, exterior door upgrades epoxy, Robertson and Wyman.
All right, we had 3 bidders, ADS, Allborg, and Marin. ADS was low not only in the aggregate, but individually. So we are recommending, after a scope review, to move ahead with ADS for all 3 on this. The low bid was in aggregate 685,000. Low bid, second was Marin at 815,620. And the highest was Allborg at 934,000. So substantial difference.
Questions for Mr. Gottfried?
I make a motion.
Motion to approve bid number 250015. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. Lucy. Any questions? I do have one. The unit prices at the bottom, there's a big discrepancy on those. So when I first saw that, I'm thinking, okay, is that where they would make the money? Right?
Yeah, I had a discussion with Mr. Di Pasquale, and we're going to adjust that number to at least a median. It's a little high.
All right, yeah, and I was
Okay.
struck by how,
So they tend to do that.
Big
We usually negotiate that down.
but I was struck by the difference in the bids too. When you're
Yeah,
talking $250,000
It
between.
tends to
all-
happen, the busier they are, the higher it is.
Okay,
And the ADS has been, they did projects not last summer, but the summer before, did a very good job. They bid everything that we put out, have been close. I think they were more aggressive this time to get to work.
all right. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Call a vote, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, bid number 250016, exterior door upgrade, Cedar Hill.
Once again, 3 bidders, same 3 ADS. And ADS was low individually and aggregate. The reason we put these two schools together, they are basically identical schools physically. It made sense, even though they're on different sides of the city, to put the packages together and see if we could gain something on it. Though the discrepancy is not that large, they are still low both ways. And again, we have talked to them about lowering that 750 number. Once again, they've done a great job. I've talked to them about whether they can handle the work, how they're going to do it, since it's quite a bit of work for one company, but they're going to use a combination of subcontractors and in-house skilled labor to do the work. So I'm confident they can do it. They did several projects a couple summers ago and did a good job. And we work well together, and they work well together with the architect. So I recommend them for this also.
All right. Go for a motion to approve bid 250016. So moved by Mr. Lucy, second by Mr. Kravitz. Any questions for Steve? Steve, I had one question. Would this, or maybe even Mr. Guglielmo, I guess, this would be summer work? Would this work be done during the summer? Yes, not when school's in session, right? Yes, it's all scheduled to be done. Once school gets out in June, it'll get completed by September. Okay, all right. If no other questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item C, we're gonna table that one. So now we're going to, agenda item D3, recommended awards. We take, A through E, they're all $972 from Secotio.
Wright is requesting again, estimates to confirm that the bids align with that. So per RIDE regulations, we have to do this. So,
Okay.
seek your approval.
Looking for a motion to approve awards A through E totaling $4,860. Moved by Mr. Kravitz and seconded by Mr. Holmes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no change order.
There are some.
We'll have some next month.
We pulled them for review.
All right, so we're on to consent payment authorizations. First one, item 5A, All Board Construction, application number 6, $420,404. Mr. Guy.
We had a schedule. It's reasonable. It's been reviewed by both Mr. Capagno and myself. We seek your approval.
Any questions for Steve on that? Hearing none, looking for motion to approve All Board. Item A, so moved by Mr. Lucy, second. I'll second. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Items B and C, B/R&A Consulting Engineers, for high schools. Want to do them as a package, Steve, B and C? They're the same thing, right? Yeah, so.
This is,
Together for the Tollgate High School project. This is our commissioning agent. They're doing third-party reviews on mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and building envelope portions of the drawings. This is part of their design phase scope of work. I currently have them at 13% of the contract.
So they're 15%.
That's right, yeah, as of this round of,
All right, any questions for left field on that? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve B/R&A items B and C. Moved by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Steve requested we go back to item 3F, the Secotio and Associates, the one that's $0. What are we doing with that, Steve?
we're gonna table it.
Okay. Okay.
It's related to the change order review. So we're just gonna table it.
Okay, it's open, just come back up. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're on to item 5D, CHA Consulting, the amount of $5,900.
So CHA Consulting is the third-party estimator hired by the architecture team. They were asked to do an additional schematic design estimate for the process we're working through with RIDE. Also wanted to put numbers to the parking lot changes, consultant down work. So we had agreed, this is a couple meetings ago, the committee to approve this this additional service for CHA, but we're splitting it with Secoshio and Associates. Our portion is $5,900 for this invoice for that, and that would close out the said service.
Any questions for left field? Okay, hearing none, looking for motion to approve CHA for $5,900. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, second. Seconded by Mr. Lucy. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next, E.W. Berman, item 5E for $36,201.80. Application number 14.
This is for the HVAC project. Page. Getting very, very close to the end. So we saw a little bit more, and this should bring close to wrapping it up.
Okay. Any questions for Steve on that? All right, hearing none, looking for motion to approve E.W. Berman, $36,201.83. Moved by Mr. Lucy, second. Seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, item F, Garofalo and Associates, $6,540.
This is an invoice for radar detection of underground utilities, specifically in the utility corridor, or alley as we call it. The location just east of the existing building, just west of what's to be the new building footprint. We need to know exactly where those utility locations are, hence the need for the survey. An invoice for that. The work has been done.
Okay, any questions for left field? And hearing none, looking for a motion to approve Garofalo for $6,540. So moved by Mr. Lucy, second. I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, next, item G, left field project manager, high school project, $110,000. March services.
In March, this is the monthly invoice for left field and their OPM work. They are more than earning their money going back and forth to Ryan and all the FAA work that's going on. So yes, they deserve to get paid.
Any questions for Steve on that? Any questions from left field? All right, hearing none. Looking for a motion to approve left field. So moved by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Mr. DeCourt. Emphatically moved by Mr. Lucy. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next, item H, Rhode Island Department of Health for $900.
This is an application fee with the Department of Health for their review for the new kitchen at the Tollgate High School.
Any questions for anyone on that? Okay. Motion to approve Department of Health for $900. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. McCaffrey. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item I, Ritchie Drain Laying Company, high school project, $12,087.59. On your way. You don't need the cents. Just round it up.
This is for the water main break in front of Drum Rock. We are negotiating with the company that did that, but this company that did the work and came and repaired it within 45 minutes. They need to get paid.
Okay, so
Really for 2.5 days worth of work.
Overtime rates.
Overtime, late, and on a Saturday. And I was there for every minute they were working. They earned their money.
okay. Any questions for Steve on this? Hearing none. Looking for motion to approve Ritchie Drain Lane. By Mr. Kravitz, second. Seconded by Mr. Lucy. I do have a question. So are we looking to get this back from
Negotiating.
who did that?
So it was done by Time Bond or Environmental Engineering. This was part of their soil characterization work that they were doing at Tollgate. So I'll just tell you, we pushed back on this a bit. Their response is, because we want to know why is the district responsible for this. But according to their contract, they did the pre-marking with Dig Safe. There's nothing on the existing conditions drawings that noted that water main was there. So per their contract, having checked those two boxes, they're claiming that this is the district's risk. So just, we're still negotiating and talking about it, but, it's written in black and white.
I think best case scenario, we'll split it with them, even that I'm not sure of.
Right, but this is one of the many reasons why we're carrying contingency, right? Just for-
I get it. Well, I come from, I'd still fight.
Yes, understood.
I'd still push back on it. So, okay. All right, it's been moved, it's been seconded, and looking for most, just call a vote. All in favor? Aye, opposed? Item J, excuse me. Item J, SOM Architecture. $448,644.25. Pilgrim High School signed February.
This is still not. Just under 60% of the total contract after this billing. SOM just accomplished a significant milestone. We had our final meeting with Ryan last week. It was a great success. We are going to submit the construction documents package to Ryan for the final review. So we recommend payment to SOM.
I just want to also touch on this. So this is it's a very important milestone for the project. Although early release packages, as we discussed, I think, have been approved as part of the submissions of the final CD approval. That's just substantial accomplishment for the Pilgrim School. Tolkien will be following here very soon as well.
Okay. All right. Any questions for left field on it? Okay, looking for a motion to approve SOM item J. Moved by Mr. Holmes, second. Seconded by Mr. Lucy. Any further question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next item. I'll have to take these individually. I'm gonna take them together. Okay. All right. So items K, Secoshing and Associates, items K through R total $28,735.05. So for the bond 2 project design.
Yeah, this is for the Holloman project in the building envelope bid. So seek your approval.
Any questions on any of these particulars? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve Secotio items K through R for $28,735.05. Moved by Mr. Holmes, second. Seconded by Mr. Kravitz. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next, item S, Secoshing and Associates High School Project, $1,181,400, March 25.
That's a progress payment for work done, design work on the Tolkien High School. Secoshing will hold up 50% of the total contract after this billing. They're certainly earning their money and working very hard. We recommend payment.
Any questions for left field? What does that mean, Secoshing? 50%. Any other questions for left field? All right, looking for a motion to approve Secoshing. Item S. Moved by Mr. Lucy. Second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Kravitz. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Okay, items T through Y, Stephen Turner, Inc., totaling $26,715.22 for ride required commissioning services. Mr. Bates?
Me.
Oh, Mr. Dodd.
This is for commissioning services for all the ongoing elementary HVAC projects. We're wrapping up a few things. Got committed to Sherman, and Sherman, they had not given us the report that's required, so they're wrapping that up and doing some rooftop commissioning, and the others, they're just wrapping it all up. So we're in pretty good shape there. So we seek your approval.
Any questions for Steve on any of those? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve items T through Y. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. DeCourt. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business, discussion, capital and construction project status update from Mr. Godfrey.
All right, the Holman HVAC project is way ahead. of schedule. They will be, should be complete, even punch list by beginning of June, which will allow buildings and grounds to get in there plenty of time to clean. It's one of the first projects I think we've had where we haven't had to scramble to get the building cleaned. That was in September. So, it's very, very nice. There are lingering punch list items, some of the other projects that will be wrapped up, the week of the 14th, which is April vacation. So we should wrap up all the little loose ends on last summer's projects. And it should be good. There's some hydro seeding that needs to get done, some exterior painting, items like that that were affected by weather. So that's why these things are late and they've been taken care of during April vacation. So, and then we're working to start our submissions for the summer projects so that we can get lead items ordered early. It looks like we should be able to make the longest lead time item, which are the storefronts, the aluminum storefronts that will need to go in. They should be arriving probably first, second week of August, and they should be able to get in and install before school. So the schedule looks like it all. That's pretty much it for that stuff.
All right. Any questions for Steve on any of those existing projects? All right. Okay, next item, discussion, high school project update for left field. We have two bullet points here.
Yeah, we'll start with item A, update on the preliminary soil test results. So I'm going to talk specifically about the Pilgrim site. So we conducted 40 borings across the site, and we did 3 groundwater test well samples. We got results showing 13 locations of borings with exceedances over the DEM allowances for contaminants. And then one of the groundwater sample locations had also an exceedance. The items, so the soil boring locations, we have 2 locations where we found arsenic, which is a naturally occurring compound. And then we have several locations where we have PAHs or polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Again, all exceeding the level of.
So let's just, to put it into perspective, so arsenic, as you know, is a naturally occurring soils here in Rhode Island. It's everywhere across the street. While both of these did go above RIDE DEM exceedances, they're below Massachusetts. So just to give some context here, Rhode Island has the lowest arsenic exceedance rate anywhere in the United States. It's at 7. Massachusetts is at 30. So we're below.
And the federal limit's, I think, 150.
Yeah, the federal level is 100. So again, these are, we're doing our job, we're doing our diligence, but we feel like we pointed out. And of course, these PAHs, these are from uncombustible petroleum products, so runoff from streets where vehicles are backfiring. If you have a fire pit in your backyard or a grill in your backyard, you're very likely to have these PAHs in your backyard as well. Of course, it's our job to report out, so we're reporting out these results, and we'll follow all of the
So there's a few steps that we have to follow in the short term. Number one is we have to submit a release notification to DEM. That's been done. Time bonds down there on the district behalf. We have to schedule some further testing because the initial test work is done between 0 to 12 inches, the topsoil essentially. So we need to know the depths of the contamination if there is anything below that topsoil level. So we'll go 2 to 5 feet at the levels or at the areas where there's exceedances. So that's next. We do have to notify abutters in writing that there's going to be an investigation. So we're going to do that soon. We do have to host a public meeting. There's 10 days notice prior to the meeting that's required, and then a 10-day response period following that meeting. And that's has to be done and accomplished before we can do any activity on tonight. So
And this is again, it's very typical of this process. Every single school project done. We have something like this pop up. But we have contingency for as well in case, DEM does recommend removal. Right now, we don't see the reason to believe that we can't reuse all the soil on site, but we can get to that as we discuss this new letter of recommendation as well. So again, nothing that we really weren't expecting, very typical for Rhode Island for developed sites such as the Pilgrim site. And we're going to move forward.
Question, so the remedy could be removal of the soil?
So there's,
Are there,
so
there a variety of
honestly,
remedies?
we need to double check. So it looks like right now that it's all within this top layer of soil. When we look at the soil cores, it's very evident that there was fill brought in on site when they built up the fields and built up the school. So they probably brought in fill that at the time didn't exceed the exceedances in the 70s or whatever that was. 60s. So, and if you look at the soil cores, you can see that the top 12 inches are just markedly different soil than the rest of the soil below it. So we have no reason to believe it's going to be further down. So in most cases, we're allowed to reuse soil if you cap it underneath pavement, things like that. Vimeo is working with us for a plan in case there is soil that we need to cap underneath pavement, things like that. Or we might remove it as well, depending on what works for the schedule, what makes the most sense in terms of adding value back in the district. We don't want to spend more money than we have to, obviously. So, but this is one of the things we've been saying for months. Contingency is specifically here for unsuitable soils and ledge. We have the contingency of $17 million if needed. And we'll talk about that on the board.
Yeah. And then the abutters meeting, you guys handle all of that.
So actually, the environmental engineer handles all of that. Part of their scope of work with the Department of Environmental Management. As I said, these are incredibly typical. Every single school project.
Any other questions?
When you identify a butters, what distance is that?
I'm not sure if to check with Department of Environmental Management because of how big these sites are. It's probably is it from the property line, is it from the location of the well? It's not too far. Maybe 200 feet, I think. Just don't quote me on that, but I think it's probably about 200.
Steve, you want to say?
We talked to DM about phasing, so.
Yeah, so, in simple terms, we want to concentrate on the phase one area, which is the building footprint. Tackle that first, section that off, work in that area. DEM, in discussions with them, seems amenable to working with us to allow us to start work on that phase one location and then address the remainder of the site afterwards, right? It's called phase two. So,
And I think if I remember the boring locations exactly, there's only one that is actually within our foundation line. Is that correct?
One near the bleachers and the track area that came up part of everything else on phase one is outside of our building footprint.
And if you look at some of where they are, it's right at the ends of dead end streets, right? That slope down towards the field, so it's runoff.
So it's all along that, a lot of it's along the fence line?
So there, some of them are on the
Northern
fence line.
fence
A lot
line.
of them also are near, obviously where there are drains, right? For
Shop.
for the shop drains, things like that.
One move is near that, the newer track, the small track between the baseball field and the football field. There was one
Yeah.
location there that came up hot.
That wasn't a surprise, so.
Nothing within
Right.
any playing surfaces or anything like that.
All right. B was update on any CHPS owners.
yes, so I wanted to give the committee an update on this. So RIDE requires both projects to be compliant with the New England Collaborative for High Performance Schools. This is a green building rating system. It's point driven. There's 250 total points available to schools that participate in this. We're targeting about 175 points for both schools. You obtain the points by providing documentation that are demonstrating that the buildings are complying with the regulations. I want to make the committee aware that the owner is sort of responsible for about 15 documents that need to be submitted around the time that we submit or go into construction. And Left Field is assisting in the production of these documents on the owner's behalf. I'll just give you a few examples of the kind of documents I'm talking about. So high performance transition plans, educational integration. So these would basically be like one-page summaries of how schools and the district plan to comply with these CHIPS regulations. So what I'd like to do is I'm broaching this topic with you now, but at the following meeting in May, I'd like to present drafts of these documents so that the committee is aware of what responsibilities are and review them and approve them. So come next meeting cycle, you'll have drafts of these documents.
The entire set or?
Yeah, and it'll be roughly 15 documents, and they're all about one page, right? And things like integrated pest management policy, right? Something that the district will want to have in writing and something that they plan to comply with as they go forward with these new buildings. Anti-idling measures, right, would be another example. So just a one-page summary or statement saying that we plan to comply with these anti-idling measures.
In most cases, things that you already have in place.
Yeah, but just now putting it in writing, right? So, and again, have to be submitted to be able to the points that we're targeting. So
What's our total point again?
175 is what we're
So
targeting.
that's substantially that is required. So that's another, I think, another thing to celebrate on this project. We're building a much more sustainable school overall.
Minimum requirement is 110 points. We're at 175.
Any questions for left field on any of that? Okay, next is action item, discussion action approval of Drum Rock demolition project submission to RIDE. This for you guys, left field.
Yeah, so in order to keep progress moving forward, and this has actually been advised by RIDE, is to submit the Drum Rock abatement and demolition as a separate project to them on the design review portal. So we have the documentation compiled. We're just seeking permission from the committee to go ahead and proceed with that approach. This will enable us to not only solicit award bids for this scope of work, but also get it mobilized and built. So, and again, that's been recommended to us by RIDE to essentially sort of parcel it out and approach it as a separate project.
Any questions for?
Still under the scope, but
Yeah.
under the contract.
Okay, any questions for left field on that at all? All right, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve the Drum Rock demolition project submission to RIDE. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. Lucy. Any further questions? All in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Okay, item number 4, discussion action, approval of Pilgrim Early Bid Site Package. Who takes this?
John, do you want me to give a lead in first? So, I'm happy to say we are currently 4 for 4. We received the Pilgrim bid package. The budget for that work was $16,240,000. We received 4 bids from Ferrara, DeGiorgio, J. Forenzo, and Manafort Brothers. The budget, as I mentioned, was $16,240,000. We are under budget by $718,000 on site work. That brings our total under budget for 4 package to roughly 1.7 million dollars under for our first 4 packages. This is 2 packages now that also have substantial risk associated with them. Steel, of course, and site work is a big risk package. So we feel very good about our current bid period. The second part of this also is discussing the suitable soils and providing allowances in case the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management does come back with a remediation plan that's in excess of what we all as professionals are currently believing it's going to be. So what we have done is we provided a worst case scenario, and this scenario we will be removing 6 inches of all of the soil on site, not reusing any on site, bringing in additional soils on site. This is way above and beyond what we believe is going to happen on site, as anybody with experience doing this knows. With that being said, we do want to stay out ahead of it, have the allowance ready. So we're asking for a drawdown of our contingency from 17 million to draw it down by approximately, what's the number, John? Or Dan O'Connell? To draw down our contingency. 2,173,000 to allocate that for unsuitable soils. Again, we're not. This money is outside of what we're actually bidding for the work. We will report in our project reports if any of these allowances are being used. And then also just as forward thinking, we also, we develop those numbers by looking at unit prices that we developed with the subs. So This is to make sure that when we have change orders for the allowance, to use the allowance, that we have accurate representations about everything that's cost. We're not just submitting this lump sum pricing and asking us to pay it. We can quantify anything with unit prices all along the site. Again, this is a worst case scenario and a drawdown of the contingency allowance. And as we talked about in this meeting for the last year, these are exactly the reasons why we hold such a large contingency. It's for soils, ledge, unforeseen conditions. This is probably the biggest risk that we were planning for, unsuitable soils at Pilgrim and ledge at Tollgate. So those are, we're past one. And we feel very, very good about this part. This work still coming in on the budget and having only this much of the allowance being awarded. So Dan O'Connell, Mark Jackson here from Dimeo. Anything that I missed, guys? Following up.
No, the only other item I would say is the AC water pipe abatement. That's pretty much for the time that that water line was put in is pretty old, so we just want to test that before we take it out. That's why that allowance was identified as well. And everything else is exactly.
The other thing on that that's the water pipe, that was, lesson learned at Tollgate. When Steve Docker was out there dealing with the water pipe issue at Tollgate, it was asbestos containing material, so we just made an assumption here that we're gonna probably encounter the same thing at Pilgrim, given that it's even older.
And we found that throughout Warwick, that anything, I guess, before 1980, most of that pipe is asbestos. So it's a wise decision to carry this particular numbers moving forward.
Question, Mr. Foote, you got questions?
Question. If you need 6 inches of soil removal, doesn't that necessitate a geotextile barrier? And if you need 1 foot, to avoid geotextile. I'm wondering if you have.
We're talking about landscape.
Yeah, well, you have to put a marker down, not necessarily the geotextile, unless there's a significant hazardous material in there. What we're seeing right now would not require that.
Okay.
Is my understanding.
The allowance is spelled out.
Yes. That would really be just putting down the marker, so if somebody goes to dig there, they're identifying that there is a layer of soil that contains.
What's the marker layer? Sand, tape? What is the?
It's a layer of, you basically call it the soil, so that when you dig it, it pops up and you go down there. The geotextile is really if you're trying to encapsulate something beyond that.
Any other questions for Westfield? So what was the amount from the contingency? 2 million?
2,173,000. Again, it's a hope. We're not.
Right, so in
asking
other words,
for it.
right, so you're just saying, look,
We're not spending it.
we want to take that, put it here in case we need it. So if it's unneeded, it goes back into the contingency.
100%. And then again, we feel we're very happy with the good results so far with Pilgrim. Manafort's a great contractor. I've worked with them on several school projects. And to be at this point with 4 packages, including 2 of our most risky packages out, 1.7 million on the budget, I feel pretty good. No design and pricing contingency has been used yet as well. So we still have that 1.5%.
Yes.
1.5% design and pricing contingency within our hard number budget. So we haven't touched that as well. That's over $1 billion.
We're also carrying 0.5 escalation.
And so we have roughly about 2% of contingencies that we haven't touched yet outside of our 17 billion. So we feel pretty good about where we currently are with the bid results right now.
All right, if there are no other questions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve Pilgrim Early Bid Site Package. Moved by Mr. Holmes, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. Any further questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, discussion action, approval of Dimeo General Conditions Initial Release.
On that side of the finance, the Dimeo team, maybe, Dan, you wanted to scout over
Yes.
Sing for your supper?
Yeah. So in order to get started out there with site work and, concrete, getting the project moving, we obviously need to go from the pre-construction portion to the construction portion. So what we've done was we took a look at the overall budget and the packages that we've been approved to date for the recommendations, and we've divvied that into percentages, and then did that based on the general conditions and general requirements, dollar values that we've had in the overall budgets and estimates. So that came into around 22%. So we've taken 22% of the general conditions and general requirements, which we kind of back that into being about 7 or 8 months worth of construction services on site, which should take us a little bit beyond when we issue the full 100% GMP for the work. And then we've done the same thing with contingencies, general liability insurance, the ADA permits, fire department permits, the payment performance bond, as well as our fee. The 2 items to note is the builder's risk. We did put that in builder's risk insurance. We did put it in there in full because we put the policy in full. And then building permit, we do have a building permit currently as part of our estimate, but there has been discussions with the city about whether it should be paid for directly to avoid any of the additional markups on that or not, or so we need that help with this equation at this point in time.
So as it currently stands, the building permit will need to be paid. So we do have that expense coming in. We have planned for that expense. It's just not on this one until we figure out how much of it's who's paying what. City, is it us? Is it a full permit? Is it half a permit? Whatever.
I'll write you a check. I can take a personal check on me, Bruce. Eddie Cash. Questions for? Yeah, I got a few questions. Stu, I'm looking at the 2 contracts, Pilgrim and Tollgate. And it seems that we awarded Dimeo 2 contracts that total $350 million. And I don't understand why Dimeo was given the entire bond amount in his contracts. Because you got a architectural cost of $24 million, OPM cost of
That's the
5.7
project
million.
cost. So the overall project cost. Currently, you don't put that in the contract. You don't put, because you determine the amount of the work based on the guaranteed maximum price packages. So as we get all of these packages, that determines the cost of work. But for the AIA, you put in the full project value.
But Dimeo's not paying left field, not paying Secoshio's, not paying Psalm, so why is there money in Dimeo's contract?
That's how the American Institute of Architects formats that contract, which is industry standard. Just put the total project cost, because you don't have the GMP yet. Full package is part of that GMP now with Pilgrim. Those in these general conditions will make up an interim guaranteed maximum price.
In those contracts that total our pre-construction value, and then with each one of these LORs, we end up together for a GMP amendment, which is what we are allowed to build up to. So that's $150 million.
I'm on record as opposing going forward without a GMP, but that's beyond us, but I want to speak about the general conditions as well. For example, Dimeo has a bond rate of 0.62%, which is a great bond rate, anything less than 1%. And they have a bond amount of $910,000. So if you divide that by the 0.0062, it comes to $146 million that they're bonding, yet they have a contract for $180 million. So I don't understand that discrepancy. And when I've done construction management work, the owners would ask me for my payroll, my overhead rate, and my profit rate. And I don't know if left field is done that with Dimeo.
So in the RFQ, the way that we determine their fee is based on they have to provide their fee and overhead. They provide their general conditions in terms of staffing. They provide a staffing matrix about how many hours they're expecting to bill for on site, and they provide the cost of the general conditions. It was as part of the larger RFQ/P that was put out coming up on a year ago today. Is how we determine those items. So their fee and profit is specifically marked out.
Well, how much profit is in the 8.7 million of general conditions? It should only be 1.85%. That's their profit.
Their profit is based on their fee is based on the title cost of the scope of work of 140 million, right there.
Yeah, but so if you look at the 22% fee, you do the math on the $32 million, it all rolls up, but you will end up at the 1.85%.
I mean, I'm looking at the general liability insurance, $1.33 million for 140. Has Dimeo provided documentation regarding their entire insurance program and percentage of it to equal that 1.3 million? It just seems very high to me.
We can do a deeper dive on if you'd like. We can sit with you and we go do that. But yes, as part of this, they require private insurance documentation as part of the RFP.
Yeah, our liability insurance, I'm pretty sure it's 1.1% of the contract value, so it's $11 per thousand.
Okay.
And that was also asked in the general condition, it specifically calls out what is your cost for this rate. Because you're right, that's something that we take into account in evaluating everybody's fees. We want to make sure that it's also apples to apples.
So this remains to be proven, and you haven't verified this 8.7 million general condition cost.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, have you been, all the salaries, have all the salaries been provided to you as the OPM?
Yeah, it's part of the RFP.
All of them. Have you verified the cost per hour plus the modification rate plus the profit?
If you,
1 point.
all of that documentation is available in the RFQ that we awarded to the jury. It's all provided in there. It's specifically requested and they provide their information.
Well, I read the entire 522 pages. I don't see any verification of employee pay versus overhead rate.
Well, as part of the certified payroll, as they submit projects, we review their certified payroll.
Certified payroll is only for trade labor. It's not for office staff. So there is no certified payroll. Right?
So, I'm sorry, I'm confused. We got their rate.
I'm
They
asking
provided their hourly
if
rate.
Left Field has verified the general conditions that Daniels presented.
Yes, we absolutely have. We did a full scope review with our entire team to review their general conditions.
I haven't seen that, so maybe you and I can get together after.
Sure, it was discussed in a building committee before we,
All right, so just,
yeah,
you, 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
yeah, no, Armin and I are okay.
Paying, who lost?
Okay.
Paying. Who lost?
We amend our contract.
Any other questions? Okay, any other questions for Left Field or Demio on that? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve Demio general conditions initial release. So moved by Mr. Holmes, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. Any further questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carries. All right, next, discussion action. Approval of hire and compensation for Assistant Director of Capital and Construction Projects. This is Mr. Gupta.
As we've done before, we've, every time we've hired an assistant director, we brought it forward to the committee, for their approval before we send it to the superintendent and school committee.
Mr. Chair, I would ask this be tabled. It's not necessary. Any person that's hired will be hired by the superintendent's office, and recommendations of the interviews and assessments would be forwarded to HR, and determination for that person would be done at that time. Or any contracts related to compensation would also be determined at that time, and this body wouldn't have the authority to do that.
Okay, so, so then just walk me through the sequence of how this works. So I think we discussed this at the last meeting too. That position is actually technically an employee of the school department, right?
Yes.
It's not we don't employ, right? So we're just, okay, so what you're saying is the body doesn't have to approve it because they're interviewing with the school department's HR department. And it will be a recommendation coming from the director,
Yes.
you, whoever else was in on the
Whoever was
interviews,
I wouldn't say.
whoever was on the interview. Okay. All right. So if we table this, will we have something for the next meeting? Will we have something decided for the next meeting?
I'm sure if the interviews are completed, all the assessments are done, all the background check has been completed.
Okay.
I'm sure we would have a candidate in the position at that point,
Okay.
as long as all the steps are completed.
Okay. All right. So taking into consideration what this acting superintendent said, I'd be looking for a motion to table this for the next meeting. But it wouldn't even be an action item for us. We'll just table it. Okay. Motion moved by Mr. DeCourt, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Public comment. Member of the public? Okay. Committee member request for future consideration. If anybody has anything they want to add to the agenda, just reach out to Jenny or Steve and myself. Future business, our next meeting is May 7th. If there's no other business, looking for motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Holmes, seconded by me. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.